Hello and welcome to yet another video. In today's video I'm gonna react to Audrey's Mestre fatal accident. For those who don't know me, I'm V, I'm a rescue diver, I'm dive master, I'm commercial diver, and I have 20 years experience in the scuba diving industry. With no further ado, let's move to the video. I'm gonna watch it on my phone, you're gonna watch it here.
On October 12, 2002, Audrey Mestre attempted to break the No Limits world record by diving 564 feet on a single breath of air. Audrey's first No Limits record dive was for the French nationals. Under the watchful eye of her mother, Audrey would attempt a depth of 80 meters. But Audrey was not the only rising star on the horizon.
There she goes.
Oddly, it's because of Pepin that I started freediving. No Limits freediving for me has always been about traveling to the edge of myself, but really pushing hard.
Tanya Streeter's first No Limits attempt was for the women's world record. She would hold a single breath of air for nearly 3 minutes, descending to a depth of 113 meters.
That's a lot.
Tanya handled the pressure with ease and was an overnight sensation. Suddenly, No Limits freediving was sexy. Within no time, Tanya had attracted top-notch sponsors.
The pony tank that's on the sled is the most important piece of equipment.
I have to make sure that there's actually air in the lift tank to bring her back up.
And I would fill it myself.
A dive that takes me 3.5 minutes takes my deepest diver 3.5 hours.
And that's why, because the divers, when you're breathing from the scuba gear, the nitrogen goes to your blood vessels, and as you ascend, it creates bubbles, and that bubbles blocking your arteria. So you need to decompress to stay a little bit higher. Let's say, stop for 3 minutes, go higher, stop for 5 minutes, go higher. You don't stop how much time you like, or you plan the dive before. Nowadays we have the diving computers that tell you stay at 100 meters for 10 minutes. The decompression takes a lot if you do deco dives.
Every one of my divers was in a buddy team standard diving rules.
We had 16 divers,
16
probably every 50 or 60 feet. And so worst case scenario, we could relay Tanya back to the surface fairly quickly. And every diver in the water had a pony tank and a lift bag. And at any time, they could clip it onto Tanya's suit, they could release the airbag, and within seconds, she would be sent to the surface.
It was actually 2 times when people asked if the bottle was filled with air, and I could hear Pepin reply, "Get away from it and take care of other things. Just leave it alone. I already take care of the bottle. It's filled. Leave it."
So I said, okay, fine. Just kind of put the equipment there and left it, and really went back to my own business of doing what I needed to do as a surface diver.
Compared to Tanya's 16, Audrey had 2.
When you make your nitrox course or your technical course, your technical diver course, every instructor teaches you that you check your own tank on your own. It doesn't matter if he told me that it's 36% of oxygen or 35, 34, 40, doesn't matter what. I take the analyzer, or you take the analyzer, you check your own gas. You never leave, even the instructor or the blender, they're not gonna give you the tank like that. Say take them, it's 36, I don't care. You need to check it on your own. Even if Pepin told him, no, leave it, I check the tank, you need to check it again. Even Audrey, she must check it on yourself. It's the only way back up. She can't finish to go up 170 meters. And that guy goes to 80 meters with air. It's the maximum depth. without to have any problems. 56 meters.
comprimido, había solamente para Pascal Bernabé, que era que iba a estar en 172 metros.
Even with Pascal at 172 meters and Wiki at 80 meters, that left a gaping hole at the 130-meter mark. But Pepin, determining the rules with his own organization, the IAFD, proceeded despite the obvious dangers.
Like usual, 4-5 minutes before she starts diving, I was
And that
descending,
guy that goes
fast, on the
one
cable.
tank.
At T-minus 3 minutes, Wiki
One
began
tank
his
with his
descent
back
to the 80-meter mark.
One stage.
Audrey used the remaining time to pack enough air for the 3.5-minute dive. A kiss from Pepin, and Audrey took
Here
her
I
final
put you
breath.
another video from a free diver that I found. He emulates the air on the lungs. How the
I was keeping pretty careful track of the
pressure
time, as I always
compressed
do.
down.
I suppose I was
at 50
20
meters.
meters from the
Or
dive boat in
during
a
the
little
dive.
skiff.
Imagine how the lungs they compress at 50 meters. Imagine 170.
Just going under and brushing against the cable. So we have a way to determine more or less what's going on. When I look at Pepin, it was as if something was just not right. But on the other hand, nothing was wrong.
Y te doy la señal de que está en 80 metros. Ella pasó por delante de mí, que iba bien, perfecto.
I had the feeling something was not right before she hit the bottom. It takes decades of experience, but if you look at a line, you can see how it's oscillating in the water column. This can be caused by current, but it also be caused by the tension on the line and the fluctuating tension on the line. And it just didn't look quite right.
Look how fast this is going down.
A minute and a half into the dive, to tell Audrey she was nearing the 170-meter mark, Pascal clanged his pipes.
I saw Audrey arriving like usual, fast.
At 1 minute and 42 seconds, Audrey's sled reached the bottom of the line.
And then the first bad surprise when she finished to open this tank, which was supposed to fill the lift bag. Nothing happened. So I took one of my regulators and I inflate with my own gas. Then she starts to ascent.
But Audrey's rate of ascent was far too slow. Had there been a safety diver at 130 meters, they would have seen that Audrey was still struggling.
But also, even if that guy hears the most of the questions on the other video, which is like 200,000 views, and say why she didn't breathe from the diver's regulator. It's not possible to breathe down there. Everything is so compressed. But I show you on the video. I put the video about the laryngospasm. It's not only the lungs overexpansion.
But the next closest diver was Wiki, 90 meters above.
Y pasaron 30, 40, 50, un minuto y ella no salía. Y no salía.
Exactly.
Pascal Barnaby, who was at 170 meters on a trimix.
Because with the gases that he breathed at that moment, he can't go, let's say, from 170 to go 150 or 130. He needs to change gases and stuff. But with all that panicking down there, you never know if he also changed.
He could not
Well,
rise
better to stay
very
where you
fast.
are.
He did rise faster than he should
he
have
didn't. He rised.
because he realized too that something had gone awry. He last saw Audrey at about 165 meters, 162 meters.
No.
We counted the time. After 3 minutes, she's supposed to be back between 3 to 3:15, 3:20 minutes. And then you don't see the sled moving. When she's coming back, you see the cables moving fast. so she's flying back out. And then, you know, you don't see the divers doing anything in the top.
I thought, well, okay, it's taking a little bit longer than planned. That's not so bad. It's only 3.5 minutes. No
Yeah,
big
because
deal.
you don't know what happened.
No distress, no signs of distress on the dive boat.
Through his snorkel, he was just screaming, fuck! PP was screaming up to the surface boat that he wanted his scuba gear. And they throw down the scuba gear to PP, and it took him 1 minute to put it on.
In the blue, I saw that she left the cable.
Of course.
Pascal found her at 124 drifting like a leaf in autumn.
For her safety. And I mean no disrespect to the divers that were in the water to her, because I believe that, I don't believe that somebody can dive
Exactly.
and do safety for somebody else with intent not to help them. What I don't understand is that whoever is in charge of the logistics on a dive like this, and for me that's my husband, why that person doesn't put
But they
every
help you. They
single
don't have
system in
tools.
place
You know
for
what I mean?
safety.
What they
doesn't
can
make
do?
any sense
Nothing.
to me.
When Pepin finally surfaced with Audrey, 8 minutes and 38 seconds had passed.
When they popped up out of the water, I was taken aback.
Yeah. The pink foam is there, mix
high in the
water
water.
in the lungs
A lot of pink foam
with blood.
was coming out of her mouth.
Over another minute passed as Pepin frantically tried to resuscitate Audrey in the water.
It seemed to be going in slow motion, and I remember thinking, good heavens, why,
If you're up to the
why are they
boat.
moving so slowly?
Yeah.
You're doing a world record. Supposed to be qualified people there. When she get out of the water, it's supposed to be a real doctor there.
When Audrey was finally lifted into the boat, the doctor turned out not to be a medical doctor.
I was in the water when they were screaming after the doctor, and he was like, I'm not a doctor, I'm a dentist.
What? Headed for shore, and I could see Matt trying to do CPR.
And at that time, she still had a pulse, and we kept rolling her on her side because the foam was still coming out of her mouth and nose, just pouring out. So it was really had a difficult time getting any kind of air in her. And when we got to shore, I expected to see a backboard or something on the beach, or a Stokes litter or something like that. But no, they had nothing like that. I couldn't believe that we were on the beach and they were fumbling around trying to get a beach chair to take her to the infirmary.
Look how the guy do CPR. Fucking hell. That's not on CPR, mate.
It was pretty chaotic as far as getting her from that boat to the infirmary. And it was a long trek because it was up the beach through I remember we went through some walkways. I didn't even know where it was.
Put her down, make
When we
CPR.
got there, they were painting in the
Do
infirmary.
something. Mate,
The
they're
whole thing
doing
was
nothing.
Every
infirmary. The whole thing was crazy.
Everything was wrong from the beginning to the end. I mean, it's like the girl don't have a little brain to survive that day.
It took more than 30 minutes to get Audrey to the nearest hospital, where shortly after
Of
arrival,
course.
she was pronounced dead.
The closet has a drowning investigation or a drowning accident.
In the Dominican Republic, only an immediate family member could request an investigation, and neither Pepin nor Audrey's parents did so.
I'm certain that
Because
if
he's in a deep
something
shit.
would have happened, something
That's
like that
why.
here in the United States, the investigation would have gone a lot deeper.
There was an autopsy on Audrey, and the doctor said that it was just drowning and it was an accident. There was no air in the bottle. And
Yeah, that's
was
why
the
you're
main
there.
thing.
That's why you are a safety diver. I don't get it. If he tell you the tank is full, you say, I don't care. I need to check it on my own. Now it's easy to sit back and you say, the tank was empty. Yeah, thank you very much.
In Sweden, we call this manslaughter, and you will spend a lot of years in prison.
Repeatedly, people ask, why didn't Audrey take air from Pascal, her safety diver? Though no one knows for certain, the conventional wisdom is that taking air at such depths would cause the lungs to explode.
Yeah, but also, here's the part that I tell you, and I'm gonna put a clip from the laryngospasm. Here.
This is the appearance of the vocal folds when a person is breathing normally while reading a book, sleeping at night, or even right now as you watch this video.
Look what happens. You can't breathe. This exact same thing happened to me when I free dived 10 meters and I tried to breathe from a tank. Imagine at 171 meters. It's not possible to breathe. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't want to try anyway.
Whose responsibility was it, Pepin, to fill her tank?
Well, there was a whole team work. It was a tragic mistake. It was something that nobody wanted to happen, and we will have to learn how to live with this.
It was actually 2 times when people asked if the bottle was filled with air, and I could hear Pepin reply, get away from it and take care of other things. Just leave it alone. I already take care of the bottle. It's filled. Leave it.
So I said, okay, fine. Just kind of put the equipment there and left it.
2 of them.
Really went back to my own business of doing what I needed to do as a
Yeah, what you know
diver.
to fucking hell, come on. So first of all, those safety divers included Audrey. They need to check the tank on their own, no matter if the god says the tank is full. I don't care. I need to check it. I have to check it. Second, it's the breathing. You can't inhale down there from the scuba diver's regulator. First of all, you're gonna have lungs over expansion. That's what they say, and she contain air. On the ascent, she's gonna have problem anyway. And after someone says about the defibrillator, they said even on the 9 minutes after, she have a pulse. So if defibrillator find that she have pulse, it does nothing. So you need to make CPR. But you see the guy how make CPR. I don't know. If I was me as a safety diver, I'm gonna do what they do on the Tanyas. Just take 10 liters tank or 5 liters tank with a lifting bag, clip here, open the tank. Here you go. The other case, I'm gonna empty all my tank. What to do? I'm gonna empty all my tank to go up, and I'm gonna shorten my decompression. I'm gonna skip some deco stops so I can have enough air to go out. I'm gonna skip some. I'm gonna go to 80 meters to find the other guy, or I don't know. But the first thing, it's don't panic, because it happens to me before. I don't know if I'm gonna put a clip, because I have a clip from a drowned diver that I found. I go to help, and there was 2 instructors watching him do nothing, just put oxygen to a dead guy. Anyways, that was it. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments below what you will do if you was on the safety divers position, or if you are a doctor or whatever, and see you in the next one. Bye.